Here's a sneaky little trap that even the most ambitious people fall into: success-induced stagnation. We spend so much time working toward our goals that when we finally reach them, we often just stop. You've hit your milestones, your business is thriving, things are going well. Maybe you've achieved that big career goal that you've been chasing for years. So you should feel energized, right? But instead, you end up feeling stuck, like you're just going through the motions, managing what you've built instead of creating what's next. And for those of you that have been into self-development for a while, you know what I'm talking about. My name is Jocelyn Herman-Saccio. I'm a master coach, vision architect, and thought partner. And for more than 39 years, I have been coaching high performers who have achieved incredible results, but internally they feel empty. And this is what nobody tells you about success. It's one of the most seductive comfort zones of all. It's where dreams go to die, but you feel justified in staying where you are at, where you reached. Today, I am going to show you exactly why this happens for high achievers, how to recognize when you've shifted from creation mode to management mode, and maybe most importantly, how to reignite that fire to build something new instead of, staying where you are, but without throwing away what you've built. Because if you're in that comfort zone for too long, you risk missing out on what you're truly capable of. Point one, the success trap, when achievement becomes your prison. I was working with a client recently, a founder of a company who had built his business to actually 7 figures. And he said something to me that really kind of stopped me in my tracks. He said, "I feel like I've become a prisoner of what I've built." That is quite a statement, right? A prisoner of success. It's not so uncommon. So let me tell you what was really happening here. He had spent 5 years building this incredible business, blood, sweat, tears, the whole shebang, the whole entrepreneurial journey. And he had made it, 7 figures, a team of 12, systems running really smoothly. But somewhere along the way, he had shifted from being a visionary who created this empire to being the manager who was maintaining it or having it survive. Research actually shows that our comfort zones are defined as a behavioral state where we operate in an anxiety neutral condition using a limited set of behaviors to deliver steady performance without risk. That's a mouthful. And that's exactly where success lands us. When you're successful, you have something to lose. So your brain shifts from how can I create to how can I protect? How can I keep this going? That's management mode. Think about it. I mean, success isn't the finish line. It's just the starting line for what comes next. What's the next chapter? But most people treat it like it's a destination where they can finally take a breath, rest. Imagine if Picasso had painted one masterpiece and then spent the rest of his life just sort of dusting it off and admiring it and adjusting the lighting on the frame. We would have missed out on thousands of works of art. But that's exactly what most successful people do. They create one version of success and then spend years maintaining it, having it survive instead of creating the next space of success. And here's what this means for you specifically. When you're in management mode, you're not in creation mode. Simple. Management mode kills innovation. It turns you from an artist into a custodian. You're no longer painting new masterpieces. You're just making sure the old ones don't fade. Point two, the creator versus the manager identity shift or role shift. So here's what actually happens, okay? And I see this with my clients all the time. You start as a creator. You're full of ideas, you're taking risks, you're building something from nothing. You don't even know what you're doing, but it's fulfilling. And that energy got you here. But success requires systems and processes and people. And before you know it, you're not creating anymore. You're managing and implementing. One of my clients put it perfectly. She actually said, I started this business to build cool stuff, and now I'm just a firefighter putting out daily crises. Another one told me, I used to love the challenge, but now it's just endless meetings and maintaining what we've already built. And here's the truth that nobody wants to admit: managing keeps things running, but creating is what keeps things exciting. When you lose that excitement, that sense of vision and creation, you lose the very thing that made you successful in the first place. You lose your edge, your passion, that spark that made people want to work with you or buy from you or believe in you. You lose the magic. Research actually backs this up. It shows that the best way that entrepreneurs can get out of their comfort zone is by delegating tasks. But the catch is that most business owners can't cope with giving up total control. So they stay stuck in doing work that doesn't challenge them, work that keeps them in management mode in their comfort zone instead of creation mode in that uncertainty world. But let me kind of reframe this whole thing for you, okay? You're not lazy. You're not losing your edge in reality. You've just shifted worlds and roles without realizing it. You've gone from creator to manager, and nobody told you that this was happening. But the good news is you can shift back. You can actually reclaim that creator role. But first, you need to recognize where you've gotten too comfortable. Point three, the comfort zone audit. Where have you gotten too comfortable? So let's do something transformative right now. Okay. Let's actually take a real look at where in your life you have gotten a little too comfortable. And I want you to think about three specific areas: your business, your personal growth, and your daily routine. Business, personal growth, and daily routine. So in your business, are you still taking creative risks, or are you just optimizing what already works? When was the last time you tried something that might fail in your business, might fail spectacularly? In your personal life, have you mastered your morning routine so much that you could do it with your eyes closed? It's kind of like mindless at this point. Or are you still learning new skills? Or are you just perfecting old ones? One entrepreneur that I worked with realized that he had been reading the same type of business books for 5 years. That's a long time. Same authors, same concepts, just repackaged. No wonder he kind of felt stagnant. I mean, you're in the same zone. So here is the big one for entrepreneurs. All right. The delegation trap. You should delegate, but you can't let go of certain things. So you can't trust others to do it. You'll do it better. You'll do it faster. So you get stuck in doing work that doesn't challenge you, work that somebody else could actually do, but you end up doing it. And you are playing small because it feels safe and comfortable. There's that word again. Psychology research shows that uncertainty tolerance is one of the strongest predictions of entrepreneurial success. So the more comfortable you get with not knowing exactly how something is going to turn out, the more you're going to end up creating. But when we get successful, we lose that tolerance and we want guarantees. We want safety. We want certainty. So here's my challenge. If you can't think of something that made you genuinely uncomfortable in the last month or so, you have found your answer. Comfort is the enemy of growth. And comfort disguised as success, that's the most dangerous trap of all. Point four, the discomfort prescription: how you can reignite your creative fire. Now, I'm going to give you something practical, something that you can actually do this week. And I call it the discomfort prescription. And it's how you shift back from manager to creator. First, pick one area where you've been coasting. Maybe it's a business process that you could innovate, or a skill you could level up for yourself, or a goal that you've been avoiding because it feels too big. Just one area. Don't try and revolutionize everything all at once. Second, set a challenge that requires you to create, not just manage. Something that makes you think, I'm not really sure how to do this yet. That's uncertainty. That's the uncertainty that is your creative muscle waking up. I had a client who decided to launch a podcast after 5 years of just running her coaching business alone. She had no idea how to start a podcast, and that's exactly why it worked. It forced her back into creation mode. Third, and this is crucial, embrace the mess. Growth isn't cozy, it's awkward, it's full of oops, that didn't really go as I planned kind of moments, but that's where the magic happens. That's where you remember who you really are and how much you love building in the first place. And if you're sitting there thinking, but Jocelyn, I need help figuring out what's next. That's the whole point. I don't know what's next. That is precisely the kind of transformative work that I do with my clients. I help entrepreneurs break free from that trap of management mode and reignite their creative fire. If you want to explore what that might look like for you personally, book a short call with me and we can explore how I could possibly support you in your path from management to creator. The link is in the description below. But here's what I really want you to understand out of this episode. You need to adopt what I call the conquering mindset. Consider yourself like a king or a queen and remind yourself that any difficult situation is just ready to be conquered. That's the creator mindset. That's the energy that built your success in the first place. Research shows that comfort with uncertainty is an indicator of a person's not only perception of overall career satisfaction, also their personal happiness. So when you choose discomfort, you're not just growing your business, you're actually increasing your overall life satisfaction. So here's what we've uncovered today. Success can become your most dangerous comfort zone. The shift from creator to manager happens gradually, but it kills the very innovation that made you successful in the first place. And the antidote is strategic discomfort, deliberately choosing to create instead of just maintain and protect and survive. So your homework, and I do mean this, I want you to actually do this, pick an area this week where you're going to choose creation over management. It doesn't have to be a huge area, just new. Maybe it's delegating something that you've been holding tight onto. Maybe it's starting that project that you've been putting off because you didn't know how to accomplish it. Maybe it's having that difficult conversation that could change everything in your relationship or in your business. And when you do this, something interesting is actually going to happen. You are going to start to remember why you loved building in the first place. You're going to reconnect with that part of yourself that sees possibilities instead of just problems and solutions. You shift from asking, how can I protect this, to what else is possible? What's next? What could I create? And I get it. Leaving your comfort zone is about as appealing as switching from sweatpants to jeans after a year of remote work, right? But if we stay too comfortable, we end up missing out on the magic of what's possible. So now that you understand why successful people stop growing in many cases, watch this next video where you can explore solutions and strategies to shift from reaction to creation in every area of your life.